same old place that you laugh about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, the tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back.
Hey, what's going on? All right. Almost messed that up, huh? All right. So, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you're doing your thing, being productive, you know. So first, kind of stretch it out. Let's give it a bit of a stretch. Oh, that's good. That's good. All right. So let us go through what we need. Started my laundry, so that's happening. Started doing some promo stuff for the radio show, and yeah. So figured what we could do is we'll take a look at something that I came across this week, and I thought was pretty cool, and something I've been kind of looking forward to. And yeah, so I figured we just go ahead and take a look at that. All right. So let me make sure I got everything. So it all started with let me share my screen. Probably good if I share my screen. Where is it? Start screen share. Yes. I'm not going to need any audio, I'm pretty sure. So all right, here we go. Now, we've mentioned Ada Rose Cannon before on the show. Really good follow on Twitter, especially if you're into like WebXR, WebR, WebVR, WebAR type of stuff. Do a lot of cool stuff and just stuff around the web in general. And so let me copy this link and I'm going to add it to the list of links so you can check it out yourself. Now, all right, so saw this on my feed and they said, I'm so happy WebKit is getting dialogue. I will talk about what dialogue is. It is a really useful feature for creating, well, dialogues. I really like its ability to be closed via form controls. You can do some really clever stuff with it. And so they're referring to this tweet from WebKit, which is the underlying like technology for like Safari browsers. And it says, learn more about the new built-in accessible dialogue HTML element available in Safari Technology Preview and Safari 15.4 beta. And I didn't even click the link. Let me check out their link. And so I'll add this to it as well. So let's take a look at what that's talking about. All right. I love how they're like introducing the dialogue element. Like it hasn't been around for a very long time. You know what I mean? But neither here nor there. I'm happy they're jumping along. So it goes to like, how do I use dialogue? And so you pretty much just set up. So dialogues are like modals. I guess you can call them also modals. They're the things that pop up on your screen and ask you whether you want to like confirm something or cancel something. I don't know if you've ever seen those. You go to a website, it pops up. I wonder if they have an example. Well, so here's an example. So pretty much how you'd use it is that you have dialogue because it's our HTML element, and then you put the stuff that you want in it, right? Cool. And so, like you said, do you want to delete everything? Question mark. You'll lose all your data. You can either cancel or delete, right? And so dialogues are hidden by default. We can use show modal. So again, they're modals method to show the dialogue. I wonder why they use dialogue instead of modal. I wonder if there's I don't know, either here or there. When it's shown, the dialogue can be closed with the close method. Cool. So you can show it with show modal. If you want to close it, close modal or close. No, there's no modal. All right. Super cool. Going on. So then you have the button for delete everything, the results. And then so here's the JavaScript to do it. And so so you get a reference to the dialogue and to the results, which is going to be the thing that tells you what happened. Then you can show the dialogue when clicking delete everything. So that has an add event listener on the delete thing. Me personally, I probably would have just made that a thing like this, like delete button or whatever. But neither, that's a great thing about code. You can do it in so many different ways. Everyone has their own preferences, as long as it, at the end of the day, it does what it needs to do. All right, so then you listen for the click, and then this is that show modal. That's talking about for to open it. Cool. So then they have it again. If you want to cancel, delete, you close the dialog, and then you have the result being canceled. So there's a thing called cancel, delete. Wonder where the oh yeah, cancel, delete, confirm, delete. And then they have one for confirm, delete. Listen for the click. You close it again because you got to close it, but then you set the text, the result content to be deleted. Cool. I wonder. Oh, here we go. So here is an example, a working example. Bam. So previously you would have to have like, oh, I need to create this element, and then I gotta do the background. I gotta change the background, and then put all this stuff in here and do a listener, all these things. Now it kind of does it for you out the box, which is pretty cool. And so you can cancel, as he says, canceled. Yep. Delete. Oh, this thing deleted. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. And then modal, non-modal dialogues. So another feature of modal dialogues is their ability to appear on top of everything else in the web page, regardless of the Z index of other elements. So regardless, you could have like a Z index of a thing to be like 1,000. Like, nah, fam, this modal is going to be on top. Let's see. Non-modal dialogues also exist and can be invoked using show method. Okay. So you can also just use a show. So I guess if you want it to be a modal and show on top of everything, you use show modal. But if it's not, then you can just use show. Interesting. Okay, so unlike modal dialogues, they still allow interaction with the surrounding content. Nice. I think using forms with dialogue, stuff like that. So this is kind of like what Ada Rose Cannon was mentioning, that you can actually use like, there's a method dialogue, which is pretty cool. So instead of just having like a div or just having like a dialogue HTML element, you can actually like in a form, because that's where like before you submit a form, you may want to have something that shows up, right? Like say, hey, are you sure? And so so you see same dialogue, but now you're using a form. And then I guess you just use normally how you use a normal form. So I guess when you submit the form, it will pop up the dialogue. And then depending on what you do, so you see like there's a submit, so you can submit the forms with the values. Very cool. So you're just basically making a form so that you can do it. So it'll pop up and you're putting a form inside of it. That's cool. So you can submit forms. Nice. Yeah. And then so basically same thing, same information, just less stuff. Because before you had to get reference to the buttons, but since it's in a form now, it's all kind of like encapsulated, and that's so you don't have to worry about that. Pretty cool. Oh, and then it has a return value that comes back from it. So whatever you choose, the dialogue has a return value. That's pretty cool. Nice. Okay, so then here it is here with the form. You can see pretty much the same thing. And then you cancel it. So nice. So if you prefer to use a form, then you could do that as well. So if you're submitting data, so I guess if you're using like PHP or whatever, you want to like submit data, or even JavaScript, you could do it that way through a form. And then they have the styling, which is pretty cool. So there's that backdrop, like that gray area. Stop. What is wrong with my pad here? Okay. And so they're just showing how you can style it. And then accessibility, super. You can also hit escape. Nice. The escape key. All right. And then so then the dialogue thing has the equivalent of role equal dialogue. And a modal dialogue will behave similarly to an element with area modal true. Nice. So when it's open, it'll say true, I guess. And then you can do autofocus, and then they have the browser support. And so that's that. Cool. And then next steps. So they're just talking about, getting it ready and everything. Cool. But now you can check out how other browsers have been doing it. And so let me put this link. This is from MDN, Mozilla Developer Network. All right. Cool. Let's look at this real quick. Pretty much like the same stuff. And also, so they have this warning, the tab index, like when you're tabbing through stuff, attribute must not be used on the dialog element. I think it's because it's hidden initially, and I think also because it's on top of all this stuff, like of everything. So I think that might mess with it. So they have form elements can close a dialog if they have the attribute method dialog. When it's submitted, so this is the return value I was talking about, property set to the value of the button that was used to submit the form. That's cool. So yeah, so that return value from before is the value of the button that was used to close out or used to submit the form. Cool. And then it also mentions the backdrop pseudo element. Cool. And then this will just open a dialog box. If you have the open there, it'll just automatically open it. Like when you go to the page, it'll open it. And so it'll say like greetings one and all. An advanced example. Nice. So then you can select different animals. And then here's some JavaScript, pretty much like they're saying before. And you can see they have a little bit more the query selectors, whereas the other one, it did some of the query selecting on the event listener. So again, it all depends on what you want to, what you like. But just know that there's different ways of doing it. You know what I mean? And which is cool. You know, it's almost like artwork. Everybody has like their own kind, but as long as towards the end of it, it works, and you know everybody can appreciate it. I don't know. That's just the way I think. All right, cool. So now they have an example here. So you see how that, again, it has the gray background. And I wonder if you can, I think, let me press escape. Hope I don't break anything. Yeah, see escape, closed it. You know, this says button clicked. I didn't click a button. Oh, I clicked the escape key button? Sure. All right, and then, so let's choose Red Panda. Confirm. Red Panda, button clicked. Nice. So if I do cancel, see it kept the state that I chose previously, which is cool. Spider monkey, let's cancel. Cancel button clicked. Cool. Very nice. And then, so you can see the compatibilities. So we have dialog and open. Remember, open was a little attribute that you could put on there to automatically open it up. But so Chrome has been doing it since 37. Chrome is on, I think, like 70 something, I think now. Edge has been doing it. I think since they started using Chromium, pretty much, because the Internet Explorer doesn't do it at all. And then Firefox doesn't do it. I guess it's behind there's no support. And then I guess you have to explicitly enable this feature on Firefox. So it's there, but they don't support it. And you have to enable it behind like a flag, a feature. Opera does it. So here's the whatever preview, technology preview or whatever it was. So that's there. Then on Android, it's there. Chrome Android. Not for Firefox, but you have to enable it. Opera on Android. Safari on iOS, not so much it looks like, but then Samsung Internet is doing it. So pretty much, I guess it's probably a good bet that you can use it in your projects. And then, so I found this other one because before people were using a bunch of JavaScript. Like I said, you'd have to create like a div that would like be the gray area. And then you'd have to have like a box on top of that. And then you'd have to center it and all these things like with CSS. It's a whole thing to do it. And then you have to use JavaScript to do a bunch of things to make things happen or what have you, right? But now with the dialog, it's just the dialog element. And it does allow that for you. So if you ever wanted to replace your JavaScript dialogues with the new, they say new, but it's really not. I don't think it's that new. Let me look up because I've heard about it for a minute. Do they have when it kind of was a thing? I'm not sure how actually new it is. I could probably look in here. Again, this is the rabbit hole we go down. And since I opened it up, let's this is the thing where like everyone kind of goes to see the spec of stuff. So this is the kind of stuff that like this is like the lower level stuff. And then like places like MDN and stuff kind of like bring this stuff out and kind of give you examples and kind of like explains it or what have you. You know what I mean? Kind of like a layer on top of it to kind of like abstract and help understand it a little bit better. But this is like the low level stuff. This is where it all happens. This is where it all goes down. And so you can see it has all these things. I know sometimes they have like the dates of stuff, like when it was like first like thought of, or like, you know, submitted. Not seeing it, like when it goes through the different steps. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. If anybody knows, you know, let me know. But I think it's been around for a minute. And so, yeah. All right. But let me go back to this article real quick. So, like I said, a lot of people were using like JavaScript to be able to create these modals. But now this was Justin Mads Stallman. They wrote an article on CSS tricks that kind of says how to, if you've been using like the JavaScript stuff, how you can, like, and like I just showed you, like it's going the number of browsers that are using it is pretty good. So if you want to like start to use the dialog element, then you can do this. So yeah, so shouts to Mad Stallman. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so they kind of go through, and so you can see they have this thing here: confirm function, delete location. I mean, my bad. I'm just creating the highlight video here, and so yeah. So then you hit me. Then it hit me. You get a lot of modal related features for free with alert, confirm, and prompt, because those are also things in the browser. I don't know if you've ever seen it, like alert, confirm, and prompt. If you do that in your code, like it's like a little dialog box will come up, but it's not within the page. It's like within the browser kind of thing. It just shows up and then you can confirm and stuff. So there's all that. It is a true modal, as in is always on top of the stack, even on top of that div with, like I mentioned, 999999 Z index. And then you got so it's talking about all the cool things: accessible with the keyboard, screen reader friendly, it traps focus. So that means it focuses on the dialog box. It supports user preferences. So if you want dark mode, light mode, to do that for you. And it'll pause code execution. So like if you needed a person to confirm or deny something or cancel something before you continue on, it will pause the code, which is pretty cool. So they talk about all the JavaScript stuff, and they talk about the dialog HTML element, which we just talked about. And then, so here's like, and so I guess he's talking about how to replace what you've been doing with it. And so he's using like this class thing here, all these different stuff. The initial template to replace JavaScript dialogues. And so you can see he's getting reference to all of them. I guess they like oh no, I was gonna say if that was like TypeScript. That's not TypeScript. Let's see. And then we have the template for the thing. It's almost like they're creating like a web component almost. Let's see, checking for support. So he's checking to see if it's there. Cool. And then there's that form method dialog thing. Cool. All right, then with dialog set attribute. All right. So it's almost like they're recreating it in what you call it, using the dialog like in your JavaScript stuff. So using dialog as like the base for your JavaScript implementation, it looks like. And then for unsupported browsers, polyfilling stuff. And there's a keyboard navigation. And so you see all this stuff that you have to kind of go through to be able to just do what like the dialog does. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff here. And so you see, phew, that was a lot of code. Now we can show the dialog element in all browsers. And so that's the thing, you have to go through all this until it's just available in all browsers. But you know, cool. And yeah, there you go. And then hiding the dialogue, where to focus. So there's all these considerations of stuff that goes into it. And so yeah, a lot of cool stuff. And then the confirm stuff, like window confirm, you know, I'm a big fan of like the confirm and prompt and stuff like that. The alert, because it's just window prompt. You put in the message and then whatever the default thing is. That's, you know, again, the browser is an amazing piece of technology. And then testing it and stuff. And then async await. There's a lot of stuff here. So if you want to kind of like go deep dive. Where? I think I've seen this before. I haven't used it, but like the pseudo CSS thing, that's pretty cool. I've used like part so far recently. I wonder if that's available, if I could use that with web components. Interesting. I'll have to look into that later. All right. So then here, so yeah, you see here's like the alert, how it normally shows up, confirm, and then the prompt. Nice. This is, wow, a lot. A custom dialog. Wow, this is quite a bit of information. They got so this is basically using like the alerts so you could customize a dialogue. So it's using like dialogue and alerts and confirm and prompt together. Interesting. Cool. Nice. Alrighty. And then you go into custom. Oh, and it had like a little noise. I should have had this. I don't have the audio. I'm not sharing the audio, but there's like a little noise. So you can check that out. Yeah, and that's it. Is this a good way to replace JavaScript dialogues with the newer HTML dialog element? What's funny is there's a lot of JavaScript in that. So whenever you try to do it another way, let me know in the comments. So yeah, pretty cool stuff here. All right, I'm gonna get y'all back to work. I kind of like went down a rabbit hole, but this stuff is kind of amazing. Like the stuff around the web and how it's like evolving and things. I find that interesting and always like something to learn. So, all right, cool. Let me get y'all back to work. I know, where is the mouse? Oh, here we go. You know, it's funny, like I have a preview here and I thought the mouse was on this screen, but the mouse was actually on my side screen where I'm sharing. And I was like, why is the mouse not moving? I'm tired. It's been a long weekend so far. All right, so I'm gonna get y'all back to work. Thanks again for hanging out. Hopefully that was you found that interesting. If so, let me know. Now, I want to put in my my element that I would like to see happen, and that would be the switch element. It doesn't even have to be like, you know, tag switch. You could just put it on like an input tag with the type switch. I'll be happy with that. You know, something where even if it's like true, false, 0, 1, something so they don't have to do the checkbox hack. You know what I mean? And I just want a nice, clean implementation if possible. So if we can make that happen, that'd be amazing. And whatever I need to do to help make that happen, let's do that. So, all right. Now, I'm going to get you all back to work. Once again, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you found that interesting as I found it interesting. And I'm going to send you all off with some traveling music. And let me set this time right. Here we go. So remember, 15 minutes after the hour, we'll be back for the final break session of the first cipher. And yeah, so if you still have time, if you want to come on and do a show and tell, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to look at an artist's website. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. So this track here is Anthony Cruz, aka A Butter. The track is called Thank You. All right. So thank you all for hanging out. And yeah, let's get this thing worked out. All right. Thanks again. See y'all later. Peace.
I want to say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I want to say thank you for being there when a brother had nowhere to turn to. You were there, and I feel like yeah. And everybody says yeah. We spread a love like yeah. I want to say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I want to say thank you